Just in tonight, Donald Trump is facing a political moment few expected. A serious debate has emerged inside the United States, and Canada is now part of that discussion. The focus of this growing story is Minnesota. This is not a protest rumor or online speculation. It is a public political conversation raised by a former state leader. For more than 200 years, the idea of an American state looking to another country was treated as unthinkable. That idea is now being spoken out loud. Trump was reportedly shocked not just by criticism from Minnesota, but by the suggestion that Canada could represent a more stable future. That comparison alone marks a major shift. Tonight, Minnesota is no longer just another U.S. state. It has become the center of a debate that challenges how Americans think about loyalty, governance, and national unity. To understand how this debate began, we need to look at recent developments in Minnesota. Over the past several weeks, tensions have grown between local communities and federal authorities. Protests in Minneapolis followed incidents involving federal agents operating inside the city. Many residents felt federal actions were excessive and disconnected from local leadership. State officials voiced concern that Washington was making decisions without listening to people on the ground. Instead of calming the situation, federal involvement increased frustration. Minnesota has a strong history of valuing state control and local decision-making. Its leaders often challenge federal power when it appears heavy-handed. That history explains why this moment feels different. This debate did not appear overnight. It developed slowly, fueled by anger, fear, and a growing belief that federal leadership was ignoring state concerns. As emotions rose, political language became stronger, and what once seemed impossible entered public discussion. The Canada discussion entered the national spotlight after comments made by Ventura, a former governor, Navy veteran, and independent political figure. During a podcast interview, Ventura suggested that Minnesota might consider Canada as an alternative if Washington continued treating the state with hostility. The comment included humor, but the message was serious. Ventura did not speak as a protester or activist. He spoke as someone who once ran the state. That gave his words weight. Media outlets quickly picked up the statement. Instead of dismissing it, analysts debated why such an idea resonated with many viewers. Public reaction showed curiosity rather than disbelief. This response revealed something important. Trust in federal leadership had weakened enough that people were open to hearing new possibilities. Canada entered the conversation not as a goal, but as a symbol of stability during a moment of American uncertainty. The idea gained attention because it reflected real frustrations inside Minnesota. Many residents felt federal authority was being enforced without respect for local concerns. Recent deaths involving federal agents intensified fear and anger across the state. Local leaders said Washington failed to show empathy or restraint. This widened the gap between the state and federal government. For many citizens, the issue was not party politics. It was safety, dignity, and accountability. Minnesota also shares cultural similarities with Canada. Its views on healthcare access, education, and environmental protection often align more closely with Canadian policies than with those of other U.S. states. Canada is seen as calm and predictable. By contrast, the United States currently feels divided and tense. That contrast matters. Public reaction inside Minnesota was mixed. Some rejected Ventura's idea completely. Others supported it emotionally. What mattered most was that the discussion felt serious, not extreme. At this point, the story moves beyond one comment or one individual. This moment becomes about the strength of the American system itself. When a former governor openly suggests another country as an alternative, it signals deep dissatisfaction. It shows that frustration has moved past reform and into imagination. This matters because political systems rely on trust. When trust breaks down, people begin looking for other models. That shift should concern leaders across the country. The debate is not about Minnesota leaving the United States tomorrow. It is about whether people still believe the federal system works for them. This moment marks a turning point. It suggests that the relationship between states and Washington is under strain. If that strain continues, more leaders may begin speaking openly about ideas once considered impossible. Federal authority depends on cooperation with states. When states feel ignored or threatened, unity weakens. Minnesota's situation highlights the risks of federal overreach. Political language is also changing. Topics once labeled extreme are now discussed calmly. This shows that the political center is shifting. Canada's role in this debate is symbolic. Canadian leaders have not encouraged these ideas. Still, Canada represents order and stability to many Americans watching closely. If federal actions continue to feel forceful rather than cooperative, other states may begin comparing their own situations to Minnesota's. That does not mean separation is likely. It means trust is fragile. Once trust breaks, rebuilding it becomes difficult. The longer frustration continues, the more space opens for alternative ideas to grow, even if they remain only theoretical. Legal experts are clear. U.S. states cannot leave the country on their own. The Constitution does not allow it, and past court rulings confirm this. However, experts also warn that political speech matters. When respected figures speak publicly, ideas spread even without legal pathways. Analysts say the real danger is not secession. The danger is normalizing deep dissatisfaction with federal governance. When people feel trapped, they search for exits, real or imagined. Ventura's statement matters because it reflects public emotion. Ignoring that emotion would be risky. Political systems fail not only from laws breaking, but from trust disappearing. Experts agree that addressing state concerns early is key. Waiting until frustration turns into open defiance makes solutions harder to find. Behind this political debate are real people. In Minnesota, many residents feel exhausted. They feel caught between federal authority and local reality. Some worry about safety. Others worry about losing control over their communities. Many feel unheard by national leaders. For these people, the Canada discussion is not about borders or flags. It is about healthcare access, public safety, and stability in daily life. When people begin imagining another system, it signals emotional pain. It shows that constant conflict has taken a toll. This emotional weight explains why the debate did not disappear quickly. It touches everyday concerns, not abstract politics. That is why it continues to resonate far beyond Minnesota. So what truly changed here? Not the law, not the border. What changed is the conversation. For the first time in modern history, a respected American political figure publicly suggested Canada as an alternative, and people listened. Minnesota now stands as a warning sign. When trust fades, imagination fills the gap. The real question is not whether Minnesota will leave the United States. The real question is why this idea no longer sounds impossible to many Americans. As this debate continues, viewers everywhere should ask themselves one thing. What would it take to rebuild trust before more lines are crossed? That answer may shape the future of North American politics.